This week we need to figure out how to fix LH when it's crashed because some of us are on gear when we shouldn't because we don't know what the we're doing. So we are back at it again for another week. Once again, my name is Seth Green, and these are my opinions for entertainment purposes only as we enter the Alpha Zone. Alright, first up, Cameron Beck Films, 5 IUs GH 210 test, 350 Primo, 25 milligrams Anavar twice per week. Now, I did speak to him. This is his cruise. He's a strongman competitor. Obviously not what he's running at peak. So, because of that, that is fine to have on a cruise. More of a maintenance phase, probably needs a little bit of Primo to keep the estrogen down. So, I will give that a very, very solid 9 out of 10. Up next, Skool Sean. 1 gram of test, 700 Primo, 350 MPP, 6 IUs of GH. Very solid structure. Right at 2 grams. I got no complaints. You're also getting a 9. Whoa, guys, we are like on fire. Let's see how fucking bad it gets by the end, though. Next up is Jacked Barber. Bro, you sent me the one last week where you're gonna cruise on trend. What the fuck you talking about, bro? You're the Kellen Von Moger guy. We're really gonna do this again? 2 weeks in a row? All right, let's see what he's got. 700 test, 400 Primo, 200 MPP, 25 R. That's a completely different cycle than you were running last week. Why are we switching so much, bro? But no, that's actually a very solid cycle. That's enough. It's basically the same as the last one, honestly. So if I rated that one a 9, yours has to be a 9 too, right? Slow, lame dog. I don't think dogs should be running gear.
No shit.
But, you know, we'll make it work here. 200 test, 200 Primo, 25 Anavar every day. 3 to 4 IUs GH on your first cycle. Don't love it. Don't love it. Now, if that was a second cycle or something along those lines, like I'd be more open to that. But the fact you're running all of that in your first cycle and not able to troubleshoot like what the problem is if you run into problems because you added 4 to 5 compounds all at once, it just makes it a fucking clusterfuck. The point of that first cycle is to run your test up as high as you can, see what you can tolerate, and then maybe sprinkle in a DHT on top. Potentially GH if you're really pushing for a pro card and you need that time. But if this is just an average fucking person cycle, you don't need all those compounds in there the first cycle till you really know how your body's going to respond to these compounds. Then you can add one at a time and go from there. So while that is actually like a champagne stack, I don't love it for your first cycle, maybe a second or third. So I'm knocking you down to a 6 because of that. Nathan Souza. Bro, you asked me last week too, like how many people are flip-flopping cycles this much, or are you just throwing fucking shit out there and seeing what sticks? I'm gonna start ignoring all you motherfuckers that just send the same shit in every single week. I know there's a couple more. I already looked through the screenshots. So this is the last one I'm entertaining. If you've sent in multiple cycles the last couple weeks,
Go f yourself.
I'm not here to be your slave. Schedule a consultation call if that's a problem. I'm skipping Nathan because of that. The Crispy, 200 tests C per week. Found high E2 starting Arimidex. Adding HCG LH has crashed. Did you do any research before you started cycling, bro? Like, no shit, it's fucking crashed.
You're an idiot!
Like, that's the fucking point. You're purposely shutting down your HPTA axis when you inject testosterone. Adding HCG isn't going to turn it back on. It's going to mimic it, but you didn't change anything. You're just increasing your estrogen even higher that you already said is a problem, and now you're taking more ADEX to fucking knock it down. So you're just creating this fucking vortex of the same shit happening over and over again. Now, if anyone needs to schedule a call, it's you apparently. So definitely go ahead down in the description below. Below the Skool link, my second link is my coaching link. So go ahead and click on that and schedule a call because it seems like you need some help, bro. Also, that Skool that I talked about there, that is like the best resource you can use right now if you're looking to like DIY your own coaching. So go ahead and click that link down below if you're looking at getting into content creation, or if you just want to know basic bodybuilding knowledge that we just throw at you in spades, and any high-level bodybuilding knowledge that you need. It's all right there for you on a free trial. So go ahead, check that out in the description down below. Same guy says, not surprised, LH, FSH are low. Working to fix it, only been a month on test. Well, yeah, like no shit.
Dumbass.
All right, I said it in the last, like, you got to get this reinforced through your head. That's the point of what you're doing. You're shutting down your natural production because you're injecting a lot more. 2 + 2 = jacked, bro. Either that or you come off it. That's the only fucking choice you got, bro. Matty Matt, you have also asked before. What the fuck, guys? I'm skipping you. Little dabble, do you? You also just asked. Do you guys, like, just submit these every single week and not actually watch the video or respond to you? Because I'm not covering the same exact cycle from the same exact person every single week. Skip. Jespy. Thoughts on non-responders? Serious because I only get size from test alone. Well, you're probably not a non-responder. I've never heard of that before because that would mean that you'd be an ultra female hermaphrodite or some shit like that because your body doesn't respond to test at all. Like even females have fucking tests. I don't even know what the hell you would be, to be honest. So what's likely the problem is likely your diet and training being off, your recovery is not good. There's likely a bunch of other factors and you're not getting results because you're not doing any of the other shit right. I find that a lot. Guys want to just throw gear at the problem and hope that it makes them fucking jacked, but that's not what it does. It's not a magic pill. That's not gonna happen. Get it out of your fucking head right now. Even the pros, it takes them 10 years to attain the physique that they have, and they do it at a very high level and are very consistent that whole entire time. And you know what each of those pros has is a coach. So if you're really struggling that badly to make progress when you're on testosterone and you're not doing things right, then go ahead, seek out the help, schedule a call down below in the consultation section, and I will help you out. Now, if you're getting side effects, that's likely because of your estrogen out of range. But once again, half the people that send these in don't even do their own goddamn blood work. So here we are. Oh boy, Eddie's up next. Let's see what crazy ass cycle he's concocted up this time. 200 test C 3 times a week, 150 trend 3 times a week, 100 mass 3 times a week, HGH 5 IU, Superdrol 10. All right, I already know that he's lying here.
You lying?
Because he already sent me what he's actually gonna run, which is about 2/3 higher than that.
What?
Or no, sorry, a third higher. Well aware that it's about to be 900 test, 900 trend, 600 mast, 5 IUs of GH, and Superdrol like 20 or 30. Pretty excessively high, not gonna lie. The trend probably doesn't need to be that high. The mast and test being that high is fine. Same thing with the GH. Superdrol, not the best thing in the world to use. It is great at what it does, for sure. Needs to be ran in a very, very short period of time, but that's a lot of liver stress to be taken on. I'd probably lower the trend a little bit. I don't think you really need it that high. I've never seen anybody need it over 500. Some people run at 700, but honestly, like 300 is usually more than enough trend for most people. So still gonna give you probably a 6.5 or so. I just think the trend's too high and the Superdrol and trend probably is unnecessary. If you're peaking or really need to compete for something strength-wise, I could totally see Superdrol in that capacity. A lot of times, you know, like Superdrol Halo, I'll just rail that shit and live with the consequences later. I could see it in that context. But yeah, in terms of like an 8-week bulk, definitely too long to be running Superdrol. Nick Perks. 300 trend, 300 mast. Why is an asterisk? 300 trend, 300 mast, not 200. What the fuck does that mean? 300 trend, 300 mast, not 200 maintenance. Recomp 8 weeks, small cut, 5'10", 230. Well, if you're 5'10", 230 and you need a recomp, that's telling me you're fat and overweight. At that point, trend and mast aren't going to help you get there. You need a calorie deficit. 8 weeks is probably, what's this before a small cut? You're not going to recomp on that before a cut. You might as well just go into a normal cut and save the trend for the end. Do you have a test base? There's a lot of stuff not answered here. Yeah, this is going to be an incomplete grade because it seems like he's got a lot of moving parts he's not describing very well. And I definitely think that this could be cleaned up. But if he was just doing trend mass tests at 300 each, that's a fine amount. That's not crazy, super high or anything, but there's just a mess here and I don't have enough explanation to address it. So on to the next one. Russ is UA and baby cycle, don't compete, over 40, 10 weeks, too short. You're gonna need to extend that. Unless he has an event or something coming up, I understand that. If he's older and just wants to look good for the beach. 300 test, 150 primo, 25 NPP every other day, Winnie 25 every other day. So basically 100 NPP, 300 test, 150 primo. That's about as good as it gets if you're just like a guy running like a mini cycle. Winnie, obviously for the look the last 4 weeks, I assume he's got something coming up. So that does make sense. Otherwise, I would say Anavar or Anadrol make a little more sense if it's more performance based. But yeah, if it's looks based, trying to dry out, look good for that, understandable. That's probably a 9. The Shaker, 400 test E, 50 milligrams of tren every day. I say what you did, motherfucker. See, these motherfuckers will do this shit where they try to like just dose their tren every day to make it sound like they're running less. 350 tren is 50 times 7. Wow. So he's running 350 tren with 400 tests. Sounds like he's inexperienced because typically anybody who runs tren and they've ran a few cycles, they're going to have a DHT or something else in place also. So I'm judging him based on likely being inexperienced versus just ripping him for just listening to his gym bro. I'm going to say that's like a 5 out of 10. And you probably don't need that much tren, especially if you're new. Not 100% sure on all the context. We'd have to talk about it more. I know at one point he did say he was trying to drop fat, so makes sense from a water retention standpoint where you want to look a little leaner, but obviously the calorie deficit and everything else is going to make the bigger deal than the tren is. I think the tren's better off saved for the end and used at a small, moderate dose. Most people don't need to go above 300. Now, some people can push it up and they feel fine, like all the power to you. That is your personal choice. I am not the harbinger of your fucking signature on doing stupid shit. I'm just here to tell you what I think. E-Caneuver, 700 test, 600 EQ, 300 Deca, 8 IS GH. I like it. I hate Deca. I don't do well with it, but apparently he must do well with it if he's running it that high. So I'll give you an 8. Tired Girl Dad, 750 test, 300 tren, 200 mass, bulking 24 weeks, stopping tren after 10. I don't see the point of stopping unless your blood work needs to make you come off, or if anything, usually you want to look your best at the end of it. But I mean, if that's what you want to do, that's your prerogative. But I mean, that's solid. As long as you don't have estrogen issues, obviously. The mass is kind of low. I figured you'd want to run that closer to a 1-to-1 with your test as a DHT, but I mean, there's nothing inherently wrong with that, but I still I'd like to see the mass higher versus the tren. You know, just run the baseline dose of tren if you're gonna, and then increase that mass. So we'll give it a 7. And last but not least, Mason Shepard. I don't know why you're asking me, because you're Colton's client, so you're trying to get me to tell you you can do something that Colton won't let you do. I see how it's working. I got you. Yeah, he doesn't watch my shit anyway, so you're good.
What a bitch.
200 test, 400 mast. Wait, what? 400 mast P, 600 mast E. What? So you're running a gram of mast split. A gram of mast split ester. Why? I know there was a mass shortage of mass D for a little while, but you're running more mass D than P, so I don't get that. Your test is super low, so you must be really highly estrogenic, I guess. Anavar's fine. 100 cleanse, a little on the high end, but I guess if you've been running it for a while, it makes sense to be that high on it. I don't understand the mass being a gram versus the test being that low, honestly. I guess if you have really, really, really bad estrogen side effects, you might run more mass, but you might as well split the mast and primo and get the primo's ability to knock the E2 down in there also, right? I don't know. A little hard to tell because I don't have all context here, but compound choice-wise, it's fairly safe besides obviously Clen. Clen does its thing. Yeah. I'll give it like a 7. Like compound selection, everything's okay. It's just a little weird. And I feel like he's probably got problems with estrogen, and that's why it's that ratio. The whole split ester thing doesn't make any fucking sense, though. So I don't know what that's about. That's why I can't give you any more points. But at the same time, there's probably some kind of thought process going on there. I'm not sure. I'm just here to provide answers for entertainment purposes, as I said.
Pussy.
So that wraps up this week. Let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comments. And if you like the new lighting setup, I actually have a new camera coming in too, but Amazon was like, go fuck yourself. You paid for Prime for 1 month, so we're just going to make sure we put it on back order for 6 weeks anyway. So, or 6 days, sorry, not 6 weeks. But yeah, still. I paid for Prime shipping, got the 2 days, supposedly, and then they have it coming in 6 anyway, so then it's not here when I have everything else come in. So I was like, you know, fuck this company. I'm canceling Prime again. Don't buy Amazon Prime unless you use it for like video and shit. It's not worth it. I was an early adopter back in 2014. I used to like it, and they don't hold up their damn promises. That's the sad thing a lot of times nowadays. People do not hold up their end of the deal. So at that point, you're not getting fucking paid. And as a wise person once told me, only losers are natty. Huh? So if you're a loser natty, go ahead, drop a comment down below. If you're a Chad enhanced beast, go ahead, click the like button. That way I can see the ratio, kind of like Twitter. So, you know, everybody who upvotes likes it. Everybody who comments doesn't like it. So send me hate mail.